Have you ever felt like your edits are boring? I know I did. I used to look at all these amazing edits and think, how do they do it? But after editing over 1000 videos, I can tell you, it's not talent. They're just doing something most editors don't. In just the next few minutes, you'll learn 3 techniques that will make your edits so good it feels like cheating. And at the end, I'll show you one mindset shift that connects all 3 together. When I was starting out, my pacing used to feel sloppy and all over the place. It's not necessarily that my cuts were bad, but rather they didn't feel like they belonged in the video. But everything changed when I stopped looking at the visuals and started looking at the audio. Pacing is all about the rhythm, and the raw rhythm of your video sits in the audio. You might have heard about cutting to the beat of the music, but it also works for narration. You can use the rhythm of your narration to dictate the rhythm of your cuts. For example, let's look at this line. Narration has its own rhythm, and we can use it to improve our pacing. The pacing feels off because it isn't aligned, but if you align it, it will look like this. Narration has its own rhythm, and we can use it to improve our pacing. Finding the rhythmic beats in your audio will enable you to never stress about your pacing again. But even if you nail the pacing, you can still completely mess up your visuals if you make them confusing. And confusion is the fastest way to make your viewer uninterested. Imagine how it would feel if someone was trying to tell you something, but there would be 10 people around you screaming random things at the same time. You wouldn't understand anything, you'd just feel confused and awkward. Same with editing. In my first few years of editing, I would absolutely spam my timelines. 10 layers of overlays, graphics on top, transitions between every shot, but it ended up with edits that would feel just noisy. Because there were 20 things competing for attention at all times, nothing really shined. As the years went on, I started to do less instead of more, but I focused on making everything I did work for my video rather than against it. Instead of spamming every single clip with a graphic, I would ask myself, is there anything that needs explaining or emphasis here, or do I just want to make it look cool? Instead of doing a transition between every shot, I would think, is this transition going to add meaning? And as a result, my edits became a lot more clear and less confusing. For example, let's say we're editing a futuristic sequence. If I were to edit it when I was starting out, I would throw all the glitches I have, all the overlays I have, all the transitions, graphics, flashes, and add intense motion. And instead of a futuristic sequence, I would end up with pure noise. But if I were to edit it now, I would add some nice high quality glitches in a few specific places that work with the pacing. I would do a quick flash cut between the shots to enhance that glitchy feeling. Maybe I would add a subtle grain overlay on top to make the effects blend a bit better. And I would end up with an intentionally edited sequence that supports the vision. Every single thing you show in your edits is communicating something to the viewer. If you throw random effects and overlays just to make it look cool, your viewer won't understand anything. Doing more with less is the simplest way to make your edits feel intentional. But visuals are only half of the story. Sound is just as important. And when it comes to sound design, there's one mistake most editors make that turns viewers off immediately. And if you fix it, you can take your sound design from this to this. Hear the difference? By the way, if you want to become a better editor in just 5 minutes a week, click the link in the description and I'll send you more editing insights that feel like cheating, completely for free. Now let's go back to the video. Most editors approach sound design thinking, okay, I see a car sound effect. I see a street sound effect. I used to do the same thing. I have a big movement, whoosh. Copy the same whoosh whenever there's a movement throughout the edit, call it a day. But it ended up with sound design that felt flat and was doing more harm than good. The reason why? I used to look at sound design on a surface level, and what separates professional level sound design from the basic one is all about what you do before you even search for sounds. A beginner sees a bike in the forest and thinks, forest sound, bike sound. but a professional looks at the details. Okay, the forest feels really peaceful and it's the middle of the night. We have a bike slowing down as it approaches the camera. It drifts right in front of the lens, and while doing so, he kicks dirt into the air. Okay, so we need a subtle wind sound, not too strong because the forest feels really peaceful. It's night, so we won't hear birds, but we can use a quiet cricket sound for atmosphere. I need a bike decelerating sound as the bike is approaching. I also need a bike drifting sound and a loud engine rev sound to represent the action, and a nice ground sound to add emphasis to the dirt flying in front of the camera. Both beginners and professionals look at the shots and decide based on what they see. But the real difference is, the beginner glances at the shot and makes an immediate decision based on first impression. A professional observes the shot in detail, thinks about every element within the shot and how it feels, and then uses that information to choose the right sounds, put them in the right space in the mix, and apply the right treatments. Making detailed observations before you even touch the sounds is the first step to creating an immersive sound design. If you combine rhythmic pacing, purposing the visuals, and intentional sound design, your edits will automatically jump up a few levels in quality. But if you were to take only one thing from this video, let it be this: clarity. All of the techniques I mentioned above have it in common. They all focus on observing and asking yourself, what should I do to make this feel right? That's the main mindset shift that separates professionals from beginners. They do everything with clarity, because great editing isn't about adding more. It's about making every cut, every shot, and every sound effect matter. But even if you make your edits with clarity, it won't matter if you don't implement 5 more concepts that took me over 1000 videos to figure out. And I talk about them in this short 8-minute video right here, so click on it now and check what they are. Subscribe for more high-level editing content, and I'll see you in the next one.